Hey, welcome back to my channel, and this time we are talking about the Stormquell season for MoC, which favors Luocha as part of the memory turbulence. And from what I found out was that the teams used in 1.1.2 as well as the early 1.1.2 is still good. And you can actually use those teams in the current 1.1.3 Stormquell. So as you can see, my teams have not changed too much since the enemies have not changed this season. Okay, you might ask me, why is Asta the outlier among the entire list here? Well, because I just got bored of Pela. That's pretty much my explanation. No solid reason to why I swapped out Pela in MoC 07, since you can also use MoC. You can use Pela in MoC 07 too. It's totally fine. But I got bored and I just wanted to use Asta. For the tier list, same as usual, nothing has changed except for Yukong and Asta. So Asta from B tier to A tier, and I totally underestimated her. I was wrong. The entire time I was really wrong about Asta being at B tier. The fact that she can maintain stacks so much better than Yukong, and she maintains a very strong support role, and you can build defensive stats around her kit, since most of her attack buffs don't really stack and scale based on her attack or any other stat that Asta has. That's actually really strong. And also Yukong has very much difficulty keeping up with the stacks, so that's why she is at B tier. And we don't need a character who functions as a pseudo sub DPS and a harmony unit. So Yukong is actually really skill point expensive and is very difficult to use in all the teams I've tested in Luocha, any team. So basically Silver Wolf, Sealer, Clara, Yukong's really hard to use. She can work, but you need to tune her speed specifically for those characters. It's very high skill ceiling character, I must say. But at least Asta is not as high skill ceiling, and she's very easy to build since you can focus defensive stats on her. Just like Pela, you can focus defensive stats on Pela. That's really nice. Then pretty much it. Same tier list. As well as the podium is still the same. Nothing has changed since the enemies have not changed. And for my Luocha theorycrafting, since I have his S2 light cone now, I have already concluded the S1 tests. Here they are. I've already explained it in another video. However, now S2 becomes a better change, and he actually does wonders with S2. But you don't need his S2 in most situations, since S1 is already strong enough to clear MoC. So with S2, you will place attack in B tier from A tier and energy regeneration in A tier from B tier. So energy regeneration actually helps you break certain energy limits and breakpoints in the game in Luocha's kit. So what happens is that if Luocha has a 5-star energy regeneration rope, his ultimate hits 3 enemies on the condition, and if you hit 3 basic attacks on 3 different enemies, and you will get your ultimate ready by the 3rd basic attack. So that's very strong. On S1, you will only get 98% of your total ultimate energy, and that unfortunately is pretty bad. So you will spend 4 turns on the S1 light cone, 3 turns on the S2 light cone, and guess what? S3 is even more interesting. The ultimate doesn't even need to hit 3 enemies. In fact, the ultimate just needs to hit 2 enemies, and you do the same. 3 basic attacks, 5-star energy regen rogue, and your ultimate is ready by the 3rd turn. So S3 actually gives you more leeway for your ultimate and is more forgiving on your ultimate timing. So I have 2 builds here, which is one is my current build and one is my future build that I really want to test and would eventually replace my current build. So my current build has a 5-star space healing station, energy regen rogue, and everything else is pretty much the same as my previous build. Having defense on the body, I said that so many times, and HP sphere. And the next build I will test will be the Fleet of the Ageless build, which is the same as the one I mentioned before, however just a different 2-piece. And is generally better for all the allies, since Space Healing Station can be quite selfish for Luocha and for other teammates. And new to the sheet, we have speed breakpoints, which is completely provisional at this point in time, where we have all the actions plotted out for each of the cycles of the MoC that you normally spend in. Reason why 2 and 1 are omitted is because you need like E5 and E6 DPS characters as well as support characters, and that can really be expensive and almost unattainable. So I have removed 1 and 2 cycles specifically. So again, this is provisional, but if you have more green bars on the horizontal plane, means that it is more efficient. But again and again, I must say that this is under testing, since it doesn't make sense to have 4 more efficient bars compared to, let's say, 2 efficiency bars at 147 here, whereas 4 efficiency bars on 120 speed. It doesn't make sense, but again, this is under testing and evaluation. And I will scale all these numbers based on the 7 cycle rotation, where most of the speed is calculated based on, and the most common values of the best speed is 134 and 154 in general community terms. However, this is under testing and we will continue monitoring this part of the sheet. And well, that's all for my current MoC build and sheets for the 1.1.3 Stormquell. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Cheers!